Allah says Qareem. Qareen, that means somebody, shaitan always, regardless, you are Muslim, not Muslim, have a true iman. So, but at the same time, brother Muhammad, even we see in the masajid, for example, and the key for our also kids. You know, somebody, a man or a woman, oh, why not imitating that boy? That boy, he's a so and so and so. Why not him?
Well, he's so smart and you're not.
Exactly. Plus, in my opinion, of course, you are better than me, but I believe when we doing that, comparing my other kids to my son, I destroyed my son by default.
Yeah, by accident. That's not your intention.
So please tell us, you know, whoever listen to us right now, how to fix this problem in the household, how to make our kids not to feel that, not even to think about that.
Yeah, it's very hard because that's something we're all, I think, all of us Muslims or non-Muslims, were kind of brought up that way, right? My generation, even the 20-year-olds, the 25-year-olds, even the higher generation, the older generation, they're kind of brought up in that mindset of, you know, why can't you be like Abdullah? Abdullah is studying so hard. Abdullah is doing, he's becoming a doctor. Why do you not even, I don't even see you opening up a book. I don't see. So, you know, you have that constant, comparing, and you're kind of just killing that person on the inside. You're killing that kid on the inside. Like, I can't be as smart as him, or I don't have that mindset that kid has. I can't be like Abdullah. How do I be like Abdullah? And that kid will try so hard, but they will never be up to, because Abdullah's different.
Indeed.
And I'm just saying Abdullah as a name, like as an example. So,
I create us different.
We're all different. So I always have to like kind of remind the parents and the youth as well, because I ask those days during career days at the schools, and you're talking to the kids, you're talking to the 8th graders, the 7th graders, and even like 6th graders, they'll tell me, my dad said I'm going to be this, and my mom told me that I'm going to be that. And, you see that. And by the 8th grade, 9th grade, 10th grade, okay, what are you still thinking of? When you want to be when you grow up, what's your mind still going? Well, my mom said that, or mom and dad say I have to be this. Well, what do you like? Well, I really like to, work on cars, or I like to, work on with the electrical. I like to work with my hands. Oh, well, your mom said be a surgeon. That's working with your hands. Yeah, but I don't want to do that. I don't like that kind of stuff. I want to fix things. I want to, see. And you see that mindset of the kid, and now it's, well, I can't say too much because then I'm going against the parent, and I don't like to do that. That's not what I do. But I would like to tell the parents is ask your kid what he wants.
Exactly.
Right. See where, even at a young age, you can see where your kids are going, right? At 4 or 5, 6 years old, does your kid like to work, play with bricks and blocks and make Legos and do, that's working with their hands. That's a different mindset. Does your kid like to work as a science with a microscope and see different things? What does your kid like to do as they're growing up? Right? You can start to see that where their like mindset is. And so as a parent, you can start to say, okay, well, my son looks like he might go towards this way. My daughter might go towards this way. You can analyze the kids. You can analyze the kids as they're growing up. Right? Yeah. You know your kids better than anybody else knows your kids.
It's supposed to be.
Supposed to be.
Yeah.
All right. And so when you have somebody like me who's coming into the house and explaining why your kid's so depressed, why your kids has so much anxiety.
But honestly, I believe the mothers more than the fathers. Why? Because the mom always with the kids more than the father.
Yeah, I mean yes, that makes a lot of sense, and you're right. The mom usually is more with the kid, but also it takes both parents.
Indeed.
When there's both parents, it takes both parents to make it right, or there's both parents to make it wrong. And both parents have to be on the same page.
Yes.
Right. You can't say, well, you can't tell your kid one thing and then your husband comes home or the father comes home and says something else. The kid's gonna be so confused.
This is very, brother and sister, it's very important point. Jazakallah khair. If dispute between husband and wife in the household in front of the kids, that impact that reaction from the kids. Imitating the parents.
Yes, absolutely.
Plus, the key, with all my respect, the kids would hate the parents.
They'll pick one. It'll be
one side.
One side, right? They'll become dad's wrong in this, or mom is wrong.
Yeah, being destroyed by default the house. So my advice, Brother Muhammad, Jazakallah khair for that. And dispute, Aisha and Rasulullah had dispute. Hafsa and Rasulullah, that was wives of Rasulullah, dispute. But this dispute not going outside and not in front of the kids.
Yeah.
You know, who's in the kids, of course? Osama ibn Zayd over there. Ammar, the small Ammar ibn Yasir over there. A great Sahaba grew up in the house of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam house. So that's very
It's
important.
very important.
The any dispute should not actually front of the kids, because by default you are hurting your kids.
Yeah.
And I know some people actually, we are live here.
Yeah.
A lot of people after become, kids, they run away.
Yeah. Yeah. It's you know, and you got to remember, in the westernized country and society that we live in, it's the mindset of, I'm 18 years old, I can leave.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, you see it on TV, you see it in the law.
Yes,
Once,
especially in TV.
TV, social media.
Yeah.
Oh, you're 18 years old. You can do whatever you want. You don't have to listen to your parents. I actually saw something on social media 2 days ago where there was a lawyer speaking and saying, do you have to listen to your parents after you turn 18? And he says, no, you don't. Because in here in America, you get to do whatever you want after the age of 18. So when kids see these things and they hear these things, and then they see all the fighting and all the arguing and all the things going on in the house, I'm 18 years old. I don't have to stay here anymore.
I mean, I'm not blaming the kids, blaming the parents.
You can blame the parents, you can blame the kids, you can blame whoever you want. The goal is to not have to go through that, right?
Mhm.
And how you fix that.
So
when you're growing up and you got these kids growing up, and even if they're 13, 14, 15, watch your kids, look at your kids, analyze your kids as they're talking. Remember how they were when they were younger. What's their toys that they were playing with, right? What kind of toys were they playing with? What kind of motions were they doing when they're outside and with their friends and you're watching them at the masjid? What are they doing? Right? Like, analyze your own kids. Plus, ask people around you, right? The schools. What's your kid's good at in school? Is he good at math? Is he good at science? Is he good at English? Is he good? Like, what is he good at?
Yeah. For example, I when I grew up, we play soccer.
Mm-hmm.
Soccer now we're good football. My kids like American football.
Mm-hmm.
And me, American football, like cows hitting each other or balls.
Yeah.
But honestly, my kids love it.
Mm-hmm.
When the game coming, I sit with them. If the kids happy, oh yeah. I have no idea what's going on in the game, but the key, I want to be friends.
Yeah, of course.
In the same time, I love soccer.
Mm-hmm.
When I soccer, my kids hate soccer.
Yeah.
But because we sharing hobby, they watch that.
They sit there and watch it with you.
Yeah, exactly. So my brother and sister, we mentioned that again and again. We have to understand the mentality of our kids, especially in America now. Actually, not America, England,
anywhere.
We have to understand the mentality of our kids. Most likely, 99%, even more, the apps, internet, social media, and more and more.
It doesn't matter what country you're in, because social media is everywhere.
Oh, exactly.
And
my point,
that,
protect yourself, your household, to make a friendship in household. But then when those kids actually, I'm going to say closer to us school.
Mm-hmm.
The rich kids in the school, because they are, mashallah, and also there is a minority poor.
Yeah.
And I saw that myself when it comes to Dhuhr. I saw those rich kids speak to the kids actually with the bad words.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, if the teacher asked yell at him or something, he go to the mom or the dad. Oh, come and fighting.
Yeah.
Well, how to fix this problem?
So that again, we go back to anger or using the bad words, or the attitude, or
the kids.
The kids. When you're talking about the kids, when you're talking about bad words, using profanity, disrespecting other kids, those are all learned behaviors, right? They've learned that from somewhere. It's not that they just grew up one day and said, "Oh, I'm going to be like this." No, they learned from different maybe parents or cousins or whoever they've seen talking like this.
Definitely.
Right. So I've seen it just here. You're right. Here, just in our own backyard, where I've seen guys who went from nothing and grabbed, they got now, mashallah, they got all this money, and they've forgotten how it was when they were poor. And you're not supposed to forget that mindset. Allah puts you in certain situations to give you reminders.
Yes.
Right. And so I've seen it with Muslims, and I've seen it with non-Muslims. right? When we look at the way the rich talk to the poor, or the way the rich people look at the poor people, and you look at the masjids where you see, okay, these guys are, you can tell that these guys are all together because they have the money, and these guys are all together because they're middle class guys. These are the poor people. Like you see how we segregate each other in our own masjids, where it's not supposed to be like that.
In fact, Abu Dharr al-Ghaffari, radiallahu anhu, is a white man, and he's the chief of the tribe of Ghafar. And Bilal what? Slave and black.
Yeah.
And the white man, Abu Dharr al-Ghaffari, he told Bilal, what? He got angry with him. Yabna Sawda. Your mom is black. She is black.
Yeah.
But the Rasulullah is our teacher.
Yeah.
When he told Abu Dharr, أنت فيك جاهلية. You have an ignorance.
Yeah.
You have some of the ignorance with you. لا فضل لعربي على أجمي. There is no superiority for white or black and the opposite.
Yeah.
But the key, when somebody asking, but what Abu Dharr did his cheek on the ground, and he told Bilal, step with the black foot on my feet. He wanted to discipline himself.
Yeah.
The key,
he messed up.
Yes, the key, we have to judge ourselves.
Yeah.
To judge yourself better than Muhammad will judge me. It's better to judge yourself because we are not an angel. We are human beings.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Abu Dharr, the best of the Sahaba, we have also, brother and sister, to accept that. May Allah guide us to right path. But also, we need to fix this because it's especially in Ramadan.
Yeah. So when you look at the family dynamic, a lot of times the kids don't even want to talk because they know if they say something, it's going to be, if I say something, my mom and dad are going to, think I'm stupid, or they're going to say this, or they're going to say that. I try to explain to the youth a lot more that the kids really need to speak up for themselves.
Yes.
Right. And I'm hoping there's some youth on here to build that confidence up inside of you, to go to your mom and dad and say, look, I know you want me to be this. I know you've been pushing me towards this, but I really like this.
To that one.
I want to go this way. And I know a lot of the parents, they do this thing with they got to be a doctor, or they got to be a lawyer, or they got to be an engineer, because it's a status thing, right? We want our sons to be doctors so they can get married, and so then when they get married to a girl, they can say, well, my son's a doctor. It's not because you want to help and save lives, and you want to change the world, and you want to help. That's not the mindset of why we want our kids to be doctors. We want our kids to be doctors because of the status. Right. And that's not the right reason to do anything in any type of business or type of work or anything that you do about status. I don't care what people think. You shouldn't care what people say. If your kid is telling you, I want to work on cars, I don't want to do this. I want to fix cars. I think me fixing cars is great. Maybe he could be the best mechanic out there.
Indeed.
And the most honest. When's the last time you ever seen an honest mechanic? So when you see that and you raise a kid as a good Muslim,
I love that.
Yeah, right. I mean, I'm not lying. It's hard. It's hard to find a good mechanic and a good, honest mechanic. So maybe raise your kid to be a good Muslim.
Yes.
Fear Allah, and he'll be a great mechanic and an honest one.
The key, fear Allah.
Fear Allah.
And
I think we're missing that part. We fear what people think. We fear what people say. We fear everything else except for Allah.
You notice Khutbah al-Jum'ah, all the imams supposed to be that. Not all the imams doing that, but supposed to.
Yeah.
It's the first ayah in Surah An-Nisa. The end of the ayah, the first ayah. Inna Allah kana alaykum raqiba. Allah watching everything we do.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we know that, but we're not
practicing that.
We're not. We just speak the fear. We're not fearing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He's watching us.
Yeah. But we fear everything else.
Yes.
We fear everything else. We fear the loss of money. We fear the loss of health. And I get it. I understand. Trust me. We live in this world. We see how difficult it is to be who we want to be in this world. But there's a way of being a Muslim in the westernized society and showing what Islam is all about and doing your own da'wah on the side. You don't have to go to people and talk to people about the Quran and the Deen. They're watching you. They're listening to you. They're watching you. And you've seen these people, even during Ramadan, when you bring all these non-Muslims together, these non-Muslims to watch these iftar dinners to see what's going on. They're watching.
Yes.
And they're seeing and they tell you things, and they're, they get comfortable enough to tell you, to ask you the questions that they've been wondering for 20 years. I've had people who've been working the field for 20, 25 years, didn't know anything about Islam, but they got so comfortable with iftar dinners, and they ask you a couple of questions about, why do you guys do this? Why do you guys do that? And so this is the kind of da'wah that we do.
Absolutely.
There's no, let me pick up a Quran and read this Quran. Come on, brother, you have to, we're not Jehovah. We're not knocking on people's doors saying, come on, brother, come over here. We don't do that. It's all about how we kind of interact with the people, right? When you go to work and they can say, I have to call Abdullah because I can only trust Abdullah to do the work because Abdullah is a good guy. They're not saying Abdullah is a good Muslim. They're saying Abdullah is a good guy. I can trust Abdullah.
Oh, yeah.
I can trust him. He's reliable. He's honest. They're not saying Abdullah is a Muslim. We can trust him. No, they don't know anything about that. They just know that Abdullah is a good, honest guy who's working hard, who don't lie, who won't steal. So let's call Abdullah in instead of calling these other guys who will, cheat or steal or do something else, because now they know I can rely on Abdullah. And it's because of the emotions. It's because of his actions. It's because of the way his demeanor.
Yeah, agree.
And
I mean, he fears Allah.
He fears Allah. But that's a learned thing as well, right? We teach our kids to fear Allah, or do we teach our kids to fear what people think?
No.
Right, and that's something I think a lot of us or my generation grew up in, is caring too much about what everybody else is thinking, what everybody else is saying about your family. Back in the days, we used to have a thing called privacy. I don't think anybody knows what privacy is anymore. Now everything's on social media.
Yeah.
You get a divorce. Post myself on Instagram. I'm divorced. Haha, look at me. I'm happily divorced.
Oh my Allah.
You see these things coming up, and you see, my kid, died yesterday. Well, why are you posting this online that your kid, there used to be a thing called privacy. What happens in the house stays in the house. You talk to your kids, you educate your kids, you explain to your kids what Islam is all about, and then you're going to send them out into the world.
I said one post actually yesterday on Instagram. Finally, I'm divorced. So he's marketing to himself to get married. He's a man actually.
Yeah.
And this one, and also follow us. They all follow us, and his wife, same statement. Finally, I get rid of him.
Yeah.
That's impolite, and those people actually will never have a stable life.
Yeah.
Never have there's something inside them they cannot explain themselves.
It's empty.
Yes,
they're empty.
They try to fill it with something,
and they want people
with pride, with
pride, and they're trying to get people to feel sorry for them, or they're trying to get the attention from people. There's so many missing parts inside of a person that does that.
That means we have to be humble yourself, just like our Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. By the way, a lot of people say Rasulullah is poor. He was not poor.
No,
Rasulullah was not poor. Rasulullah had money, and in Mecca, Khadija was a rich woman. I take care of the business. In Medina also, Rasulullah was not poor at all. Yeah.
And we forget that. Like I always still see people when they get these brand new cars, or they've been and they're going online and they're posting and they're look at me now, haha, I'm a millionaire, and it's like, okay, you guys, I get it, mashallah, may Allah give you more and Allah gives you the world, but don't show that, don't get cocky.
Believe me, I saw cars like this become an accident destroyed. I know some people, I'm there, and they become sick. Don't forget, brother, Allah taught us in the Quran, Hadith Rasul first, Al-Ayn Haqq. The eye is the truth. You have to avoid number one, the envy. And envy, true, is the true. Plus, second one, dangerous, Al-Baqarah, Al-Hasad, the magic. Allah brings with magic. With the take the hair, actually, the hair from the lady, her long hair. Somebody did the hair and put some kind of sihr magic, and now she's completely bald. But she choose that. She choose that. They are not Muslims. But anyway, my point is always happening. Muslims and non-Muslims should protect our privacy.
You don't just post and post and post. I did a thing the other day at one of the schools that I go to, and I was talking to them about the social media stuff and being careful what you're posting, because it was career day, and I was explaining to the kids, when you post something online, it stays there for life.
Yes.
Like and it depends on what kind of job you're looking for, what kind of company.
Hold on. Cannot remove it? Can't delete
You
it?
can try to delete it all you want, but there's somebody, if you have hundreds of thousands of followers on your Instagrams and on your TikToks, and you post something, it's very simple to take a screenshot of it and keep it on your own phone.
That's not really the history.
They can go, like, if you, and I challenge a lot of these guys on the website, online right now, listening to us, go on to these different apps, TikTok, Instagram, try to delete your account. See what it tells you as you're trying to delete the accounts.
What?
It says to you, okay, we'll delete it when we feel like it. We'll remove it after a year or after 6 months or after.
Really?
No, there's certain ways of them keeping your stuff on servers for a long time for whatever they want to do. It's a really scary process when it comes to social media. There's a reason why I have social media, but I don't post anything on social media. There's a reason why I have social media, but I don't follow or like or do any of that kind of stuff on social media.
Like, by the way, they trace the one who did that?
If you like something, it's always going to keep going on the same things that you like the algorithm changes, all that kind of stuff. And that's a whole different topic. What I was trying to get to is when you have kids who are middle school, high school kids, and they're posting about their lives, they're posting about, oh, my dad just got a brand new car, or my mom just brought this, or, you have your kids posting these things. And then they have them.
The other people don't have.
A lot of people don't have these things.
Yeah.
And they're watching these things. And then you have some of the parents who see, oh, look at this social media post that your cousin Rami posted on here. And he said his dad just got a car. Why can't you get me a car like that? And they go to their husbands.
Yes, it's happening.
And it becomes such a comparing lifestyle we're living in.
But how are we going to teach our kids to become humble themselves? We don't have it.
I mean, we don't have it.
But instead, for example, my son come to me. I can't. Adult, alhamdulillah, they have cars. But my son come to me, for example, oh, my dad, somebody have a new phone, cell phone, something like this, so the Apple. I need the same one. But at the same time, the man, he don't have this. But in the same time, I don't want, I believe it's not good idea for the father to say, oh, I don't have the money. But what you supposed to, how to fix this kind of small, it's not small.
It's not small, it's a big thing because it's hard. It's hard.
How to fix it to the parents.
It's hard to change in a parent. It's very, very hard. You have to really understand that you're doing something wrong. And a lot of these parents don't know that they're doing something wrong. They don't realize what they're doing. It's such a learned behavior from back when they were growing up that khalas, it's stuck. And so you have to really understand that you're doing something wrong, right? And if we're talking right now like this, you and I, and there's somebody out there that's listening to how we're talking, if you say to yourself, wait, that sounds like me. That sounds, what they're talking about, that sounds like what I do. That's when you start to click. Oh my God, I'm doing something wrong. I need to stop comparing my kids to other kids. I need to stop comparing my husband to other husbands. I need to stop comparing my wives to other wives.
Oh, some people do that?
It happens all the time.
Oh man.
Where it's, we get these newlywed couples, year, 2 years, 3 years. They think the grass is greener on the other side. And they think, oh, that husband got his wife this, brand new car, and I'm driving this. And why can't you work harder to make me more money so I can buy a bigger, better car like that one? You see that happening, or you see the husband saying, "Oh my God, why can't you dress like this? Why can't you look like that? Why can't you wear, put makeup like this?" Why? You see that? We see that so much.
But we have to fix it. Here, whoever listens to us, we need to fix it.
Again, it goes back to: do you think that you're doing something wrong? Do you know you're doing something wrong?
Judging yourself.
You got to look into yourself and say, and again, if you're hearing this and you're listening to this and you're hearing and you sound like this, if we're talking this conversation and you sound like this, then you got a problem.
Then I have to fix my own.
You have to fix it. You have to fix it in yourself. You have to know, and you have to listen to yourself speak.
Then I judge myself.
Then you judge yourself.
I know what's my mistake. But how to go to my child, say so and so and so, how to make him feel good.
It depends on the age group of your kid.
The age number one.
The age is number one.
Like
let's say you got a 4-year-old and a 13-year-old, and you got a 12-year-old
and
teenagers.
Yeah.
Every kid you got to talk to on their level, right? On their age level.
Yes.
And hey, we don't compare ourselves to people. And you talk to the older kid. Hey, listen, I don't care what they're doing. I don't care what they're driving. I don't care. That's not us.
Yeah.
We don't look at that. Let's look at what we're doing inside. How can we make ourselves better? Speaking to each kid individually. young kid,
Oh,
you talk to that young kid, or even when you're having a family dinner
yes.
and you're talking to each other. Ramadan was like the perfect
Time. Yeah. I
When-
wish Ramadan always all the year.
when you have all that opportunity to talk to each other on the table,
Yeah.
right? And then you have a lot of people who have all the families who are coming together, right? One house, every family picks one house, and you have five families,
Oh, yes.
eating
Our
together.
culture, brother, our culture, the Palestinian culture, where I don't have food, and then tomorrow I go to that person, and that they invite each other. Yeah, even back home, not only in America, and back home also, they're inviting. Sometimes one time I eat in my house, but every time with a different family.
Or a masjid. You have a masjid.
Or the masjid. In America, actually, in the masjid. And back home, we don't have the masjid. We every day have. Yeah. But my point, brother, this is a very serious problem, especially when the kids have no opportunity to compare themselves to others. But by the way, the kids also can, yes, they can compare themselves. If, for example, when I was in middle school, one of the, his name Ahmed, I remember him. He's better than me in that time in math. But everything, I'm better than everybody else.
Yeah.
I remember very well. And then I judged myself when I'm in middle school. I was 13 years old. In middle school, I judged myself, and then I went to my aunt's house. By the way, in that time, we don't have electricity. We have candles. We have gasoline and candles. I went to my aunt's house, only her. I sit, I study day and night.
Yeah.
But in the same time, I went outside and I challenged Ahmed with the math. So yes, the kids, but the key, the support.
But also you come from a different time.
Yeah, I know. But my point.
So we have to think about it from right now, from the perspective of today.
No.
When we're looking at our kids and we're trying to explain to them that we're not going to compare, we're not going to look up.
Yes.
And we always think about, okay, well, why don't you compare me with, give me another name, Fadi over there who's doing drugs. Why don't you compare me to that guy? Or you compare me to Abdullah who's doing great. Compare me to, so that now you have the kids thinking, well, I'm in the middle. I'm not Abdullah, but I'm not Fadi. So let me be in the middle of those two. And so you kind of push that out the way. We're not comparing anymore.
Yes.
Let me work on your strengths. What is my kid good at?
I like that.
Right.
Yes.
So when you look at our kids' strength, because a lot of times when you go into therapy or counseling or anything like that, they're going to focus on your weaknesses. Let's focus on why,
weakness.
Yeah, they focus on weaknesses. They want to make those weaknesses into your strengths. And I get it. I did it.
But that's very good. Hold on. Brother and sister, is very, very important point. MashaAllah, you always bring that. Every child, actually, every human being, there's weaknesses.
Everybody has weaknesses.
But the key, find parents, mom or dad, or ever grandma, find the weaknesses in your child. Find the weaknesses and find solution.
Well,
that a teacher or somebody can teach your son or your daughter become in that level. Yeah.
But you want to focus on both. Right? So when you're looking at the strengths and the weaknesses of a kid, the strengths, you can say, okay, my kid is really good at math, but he's terrible at reading. Right? So okay, let's focus on the math. Let's get his math level up. But then we also gotta help that. Because you can't, because as a parent, I know that he's not gonna be able to function if he doesn't know how to read right. If he can't read properly, he's not gonna be able to function properly. Yes. In the society as a whole.
In society,
right. You wanna go and sign off on a new house, or you want to go buy a car, you have to read, right? That's what I teach the kids in the schools when I talk to the kids in the classrooms. Well, what am I going to use this reading for? Well, when you go buy a house or you go to buy a car, you got to read the contract.
A lot of contract, plus the contract normally fishy,
really small words.
Small.
Or they use big words to confuse people.
Yeah.
So I explain to them, I get it. You're really strong at math, but you got to get better at the reading.
Right.
So you're focusing on the strengths. Okay, what can I do with my kid to help him, build that confidence, right? So he's really strong at math. Let's push that. He's really good at building with Legos. Let's fix that. Let's get him all the Legos he can build. Let me build with my kid. Even though I suck at building, I'll build with my kid, just to kind of get him going, motivate him, give him that confidence.
Yeah, very good.
And as a parent, I'm building with my kid, and I don't know what I'm doing. Guess who's teaching me how to build? That kid.
Yeah.
No, Baba, you're doing this wrong. Hold on. Oh, okay. Now I'm learning. And now what have you done? You've got that kid now. I'm teaching Baba
Yes, I love this idea. It's very important.
Yeah.
My kids, until now,
Yeah.
when they have problem with the computer, I call my younger son, Omar, teach me what to do. Baba, do this, do this.
And it's a big confidence booster,
Yeah.
right? Because you getting that little kid to feel like he's doing something.
Yeah. And plus, you can give, after that, you learn something from your son, you can give and teach more and more the other
Absolutely.
stuff.
And they're gonna want to do things with you. They're gonna want to build that confidence, that partnership with their father or with their mother,
Yes.
or whatever the case may be. But at the same time, you're also saying, okay, listen, now we got to look at how to build your reading better, and then you explain,
Yes.
right? Not because I'm your dad, I'm telling you to do this. No, let me explain to you why you need to learn how to read. Because you're gonna go to work, you're gonna go into the real world, and the real world sucks. People hate you. People are gonna want to stab you in the back. People are not gonna want to help you.
Yeah.
I'm your father. I'm your mother. I'm gonna teach you because I'm the only person that's gonna care.
Yeah, Allah. Yeah, you're right with that.
Right, and the world, we all live in the same world. I don't care what country you live in. It's the world's terrible. The world is going to be very challenging, very hard, and
especially now.
Especially now.
Especially people in America now. We have a new era.
Yeah, it's a different era. It's a different time.
Yes.
So we, as a society, as a Muslim society, let's stick with Muslims, right? As a Muslim society, we gotta be the ones pushing each other up.
Yeah.
Right, helping each other up. Encouraging each other. If you live in a community that has, I don't know, 20, 30 Muslims, you should know each other.
Yes.
It's a small community.
Yes, absolutely. I agree.
So you should know each other. You should know each other's kids. You should know each other's habits. You should know each other's type of employment. You should know each other's strengths of what okay, this guy's a doctor. This guy's an engineer. This guy's an auto mechanic. You should know each other. How many times have you gone to a masjid and you meet somebody and you don't know what they're doing or what they do? And I've been going to the same masjid for I don't know how many years. And one of the brothers was like, "Oh my God, I've known you for how long? And I didn't know you had brothers."
Yeah, yeah.
And I said, "Man, that's terrible."
Mm-hmm.
I've been going to the same masjid. You've been on the masjid for 20 years, and you didn't know I have brothers.
Yeah, masjid is supposed to be the key brother, the imam. The imam, for example, when you start Qur'an, when somebody new, and then in the front, so and so, I have a friend, and everybody welcome him.
Yeah.
That's the imam supposed to do that. Not the imam do that.
You have to have a personality for that.
Indeed.
You need to have an imam with a good personality that really genuinely understands what it means to be an imam. Just knowing the Quran and understanding the Quran and being hafiz and all that. I get it, mashallah, that's great. But there's also a personality that you have to have
absolutely
with the people, with the youth, with the kids. Like you have to be a well-rounded individual in order to bring people in.
Yes, I agree.
Right. And so like when you even look at the churches and the priests, right? They have similar problems like that. Right. In the churches, they have similar issues. How do we bring people in? How do we bring the people in?
Not to go to the church. Not everybody go to the church.
No, I'm just saying that as an example. They have the same problems as we have.
That's good news here.
Well, that's good news for I don't know who it's for, but not for us.
Not for us. Yes,
because our deen tells us that we're supposed to be one.
Yeah, supposed to be.
We're supposed to be one, but we look at each other like, oh well, he's got a Mercedes now, so he must be selling drugs. We don't think to like, oh, mashallah, he's driving a Mercedes. No, he's driving a nice car. He's probably doing, selling alcohol and doing drugs.
Oh,
we
judgment.
We're judging each other. We're looking at each other. We're hating on each other.
You know who did this? The Qarun. You know Qarun?
Mm-hmm.
Qarun was the most rich people with Musa alayhi salam.
Mm-hmm.
The people with Musa alayhi salam, when 70 men took to open the key of his treasure, 70 men carry. They cannot even 70 men can carry, and then they are jealous.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we wish we have like Qarun.
Yeah.
But the people that have a feeling Allah subhanahu, no, should not be. Whatever Allah gives us.
Yeah.
And you know what happened after that? Allah destroyed the whole kingdom of Qarun. Surah Al-Qasas.
Yeah. And see that goes here. It still applies till today.
Apply. But we have to, as a Muslims, of course, it's a great sin. Plus, at the same time, brother, life is very short.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
and you can't take anything with you.
Oh, trust me.
We
there you just 3 pieces of sheets, white sheets.
That's all you get.
And that's it. Untied.
And it's funny because we just talked about that at the job today, where we had a funeral for a Muslim brother in Miami, and one of the people I work with, she was there, and she said, there's no suits, you don't wear a tie, you don't put, anything on your dead. And I said, what did you see? She said, well, he just had white clothes, but she was really close to the parents.
Tomorrow we have a meeting.
Tomorrow we have, and so as she was telling me these things, she was amazed, because she said, when I go to a funeral for my friends in the church, they're wearing these beautiful suits, and they have all their watch and the stuff they used to wear. She's like, you just wear it. She's like, I don't know if he was wearing gold, or I'm like, no, there was no gold, there's no jewelry. I said, what did you see him wearing? She said, all he had was a white piece of cloth on him.
Exactly, that's me.
I said, that's what we are, because at the end of the day, we can't take anything with us.
Absolutely.
Right. And so she was just amazed. That she was like, Muhammad, it was so beautiful to see the way it was. She said, he died, and then boom, it was just like a fast process.
Robert, listen carefully, brother and sister. If the person die, who bury him? His own family.
Okay.
Who bury him? His own family with sand and sand and sand. And then the people leave, make dua, and they leave.
Mm-hmm.
That dead person speak up. He was said, أهلي ذهبوا وتركوك. They left you alone. وفي التراب دفنوك, and to put the sand to them. ولو بقوا معك ما نفعوك. And if they stay with you, will never benefit you. Who benefits you? الحي القيوم, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Allah al-Razzaq. Allah is the provider. So don't worry about tomorrow. Allah is the provider. We have to teach that like a seed in the heart of our kids. Allah is the provider. Allah al-Razzaq. So don't worry about tomorrow. Do not be worry about tomorrow. Allah will give you your food, your wealth.
That's phenomenal, man.
Yes.
And I've seen this happen so many times, and I've seen it happen here. It happen in my personal life, and I see it in work with a non-Muslim environment. They do the same thing in the non-Muslim environment. We see that where there's, he got this car now, he must be working extra overtime, or he knows somebody, that's why he's getting that promotion, or he knows this person or that person, that's why he's up here. That hatred, that envy, that
hate, yes,
yeah, and
envy.
And it's so, I look at them, I listen to them talk, and I said, why can't you guys just say, hey man, maybe God blessed them with something, maybe God's giving them a test, right? Because everything you take, everything you get is a test. You make $1 million, Allah's giving you $1 million to test you. What are you going to do with that $1 million?
Agree.
Allah takes it away from you so you can be humbled and remember where you came from, right? And I see these guys who all the time who move up and make all this money and make moves and do these good things, and then they forget how it felt like to have nothing.
And sometimes they forget Allah.
And they forget Allah.
Yeah, that's key. They forget Allah. Allah, what we need for our dunya, or nothing. Absolutely nothing.
And I see it a lot where I took, when my kids were younger, I would take them with me to different places. When I was working, when I was taking them to my job with me, and I would let them see, like, look where these people are living in these mobile home parks, these small little trailers, and these guys are so happy. These people and the families are so happy, and we're bringing, food for them, or we're bringing toys for the kids, or we're doing something for this little park. And my daughter, hey, how many people are living in that mobile home park, in that mobile home little area? And the guy, there's 8 of us living in a little thing, and they're happy. They're watching soccer on a small TV, and they're laughing and they're having a good time. Then I go across the street, 30 minutes away, to the rich area. And the husband and wife are fighting because she's driving a Mercedes and not a BMW. You look at this at the mindset, because
life is very short, brother and sister. Believe me, life is very short.
But then you see the kids in the little parks having fun, playing soccer, having a good time out there. But then you see the kids out here. One kid is in one room, 2 miles away from the other parents. They're in the other room,
exactly,
and they're playing video games, and they're wearing their headphones, and they're talking to, and they're yelling and they're cursing.
Actually, I noticed this even in the message sometimes the kids, with the rich kids, or with iPad, huge and games and this. Yeah, that's a sickness. For me, it's a sickness.
It's an issue that I think takes a whole another issue to talk about. But man, it humbles you down when you go to the low income areas to help out the families and to see what's going on, and you see how happy they are, right? They used to be scared of us coming in, uniforms and all this. And now they're like, oh, Muhammad's here. What are we grabbing today? What did you get for us today? What do you, and I'm like, oh, I got these toys, I got this, and I got these things. And then you go next 30 minutes down the street, and you're hearing the people fighting, the rich people fighting about the dumbest things in the world.
Yeah. So we have to humble ourselves.
It's being
Individual,
humble, individually humble. Individually, you gotta know yourself. You gotta judge yourself.
Yes.
Understand what you're saying, how you're saying it, and maybe think about it after you say it. Listen to what you're saying, because people forget that you can listen to yourself, right? You can hear what you're saying.
Yes.
And a lot of people just spit out stuff and they don't listen. Take some time after you say something to hear what you just said, or if it makes it easier for you, record yourself. Record yourself talking. Look how dumb you sound when you're talking about somebody, or you're backbiting behind somebody.
Anybody biting the people but the people can speak about that person. It's not. But Allah, one of the names of Allah, Al-Adil, the just. Allah is the just. Somebody speak about so and so. He's somebody gonna speak the same thing about me.
Yeah.
Sooner or later.
Yeah. And
protect yourself.
Protect yourself and understand that. I think what ends up happening is, and I did this a lot during before Ramadan, when I would talk to a lot of the parents, or find out what you're going to do to change this Ramadan.
Oh.
Right. And so a lot of kids, the thing that they would say was crazy, because what they're saying to me is exactly what's happening in the house.
Yes.
Because they trust me, they like me, we talk, I laugh with them, I joke. I tell them kids stories of the stuff that I see on the outside. Right. I tell them all the stuff I'm seeing out there. I'm explaining to them what's going on in the families I'm working with, and they love it. They sit there, they listen, and they want to hear more. And when they get comfortable with you, they start to tell you stuff.
Yes. They open their hearts.
They open their hearts, and they trust you. And I tell them, I'm not going to go tell your parents unless it's haram. That's when I draw the line.
Yeah, exactly.
And so when they say these things of, oh, I'm going to talk to my mom and dad about them, maybe they should stop talking about people behind their backs. That's what we're going to change in Ramadan. Wow.
I like that.
I said, wow, you're going to tell your parents. I said, how much, and I told the kids this. I said, when you point out, as a kid, the haram that your parents are doing to your parents, that's when you start to open the heart little by little to that parent. You start to really unlock.
Yeah, exactly.
Because what happens, and I have like a whiteboard with a graph. I draw a pretend heart on the graph. And I tell them, when your parents talk trash, or when your parents do something wrong, or your parents, a little black dot comes on, right? And I say, little black dots come on the heart. And once that heart becomes covered with black and it's dark, like now it becomes normal. It's a normal conversation.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's not haram. I do it all the time. That's what you hear from.
That's a good idea here, brother and sister. Yeah.
And so as I tell the kids, I said, when you unlock that, when you start to point out as a 12-year-old, as a 10-year-old, as an 18-year-old, as a 15-year-old, doesn't matter the age, but as a kid, when you start to explain to your parents, mom, maybe this is haram, dad, this is haram, what you just said is haram, you start to see a little bit of that blackness coming off the heart. I tell the kids, you have that power to change, to wipe that heart clean.
Yes.
And you start to open up the parents' mindsets.
But we can, beautiful talk, Jazakallah khair. We can change.
Yeah, anybody can change. Humans are adaptable creatures. We adapt, right? We're born that. We know that. If it's too cold, we wear a jacket. If it's too hot, we take off the jacket. If we're talking trash, we can learn how to stop talking trash. If we're backbiting, or if we're envious, we can learn how to stop being envious. It's all learned and relearning how to live our lives.
Okay.
Right. And so if you think that you're going the wrong way, if you're going left, look, everybody else is going left. Well, Islam is all about going right, down the right path.
Actually, we are on the straight path.
We're on the straight path.
The straight path. Yeah, the Islam is اهدنا الصراط. Every salah. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم. But how many of us we recited in Farida 17 times? But how many apply what we are learning?
Yeah. And listen, between me and you, I tell myself before I tell anybody else, we have to change our ways.
Indeed.
Right. And if you want your kids to grow up in a society like ours, where it's the Westernized society, where it's overwhelmingly un-Islamic, right? It's overwhelmingly like the haram looks so good all the time.
Yes. Oh.
Right. And so we have to show our kids that haram stuff, yes, it might look good now, but it's not good in the future. It's not good in the
Prophet Muhammad told us the hellfire is a lot of desires and hawa, and the Jannah is very hard to reach.
Yeah.
Salah and fasting and this and to guard my tongue, it's too much.
Yeah.
That's why we have to be mu'mineen, not only Muslimin.
It's funny because you said that, because a lot of times when I'm in these meetings or in these this morning, listening to everybody talking and talking trash and talking about each other, the whole time I'm quiet. I'm just listening.
Yeah.
I'm not saying
supposed to be.
What am I gonna say?
Nothing.
Right. And so, Mohammed, you're not saying anything. Well, what am I gonna say? You guys said it all. what am I gonna say? Because at the end of the day, what do I get out of backbiting the people that you're talking about?
Yeah.
Right. Because I don't want to say anything wrong, because I know that everything's gonna come back to me later on. So when you hear these people talking, the best thing to do is just don't say anything. And they start to see, oh well, we can't really talk like that in front of Muhammad. He doesn't really
the saint.
No, I'm not a saint, but he doesn't. I don't. They say like, oh, he doesn't get involved in that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't, because I tell him like, hey guys, I'm busy. I gotta write my notes. I gotta write my reports. I gotta do, paperwork. Let them talk. Let them do their thing. Because anybody here who works in an office, right? Anybody here who works at
the same time,
hospital,
if I'm listening and sharing, there's a great sin too. Even listening or listen, that's the sin. Why? Either you speak or leave the place.
Okay, and I get it, totally understand. But if you're working and you're in your station,
that's no choice,
and you have no choice.
Yeah,
listen, but you don't speak.
Different story.
Yeah, it's a different story. I can't pick up my computer and walk away.
Yes, brother and sister, if you have anything also to join us, let us know, inshallah.
Inshallah.
Yeah.
We look at the way that we protect our kids, right? We try to protect our kids in the houses. We try to explain to our kids, but then we forget by 9th grade, 10th grade, they're going to a public school. If not, they're already going to a public school.
Yeah, Allah, yeah, you're right.
So we have to
But that Islamic school is minor, in South Florida, we have some school, but the majority the kids in public school.
Yeah. So you as a parent or a guardian, whoever you are, you have to really try to explain to your kids that you got to be a soft warrior, right?
Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
So know that you're smiling on the outside, smiling to everybody, because in Islam you have to smile. It's charity. It's good
charity. Yeah.
Plus, unfortunately, it's a profiling thing, right? If you're not smiling, then you're angry. They look, why you look angry all the time, right? So we have to smile, right? And we see that. I tell that to the Muslim people. I tell the Chinese guys. I tell the Arab guys. I tell the Pakistanis. I tell the black guys. Constantly smile.
Smile.
You have to, because it's necessary outside. It's sunnah for us, but on the outside, you can change people's perspective.
Rasulullah always smiled. Always smiled.
Yeah, and it changes people's perspectives.
Absolutely, yeah.
Of who you are.
A lot of Sahaba become Sahaba because of the smile of Rasulullah. So just may Allah make us among those people. When I have any sister and SunnahFollowers, let us know, inshallah.
Inshallah.
Yeah.
But that's the time, be a warrior, right? A soft warrior,
yes. As a Muslim, we have to.
Yeah, because you have to know that you have to guard yourself away from all the haram stuff that's going to come after you.
I was in the family yesterday with a lot of kids, actually, in the family for that land. A lot of kids. And I tell you, how many of you, mostly females, girls, how many of you have a martial arts? You learn for martial arts, self-defense. No one said, except one kid said, "Oh, he's 18.
Yeah.
When I was 13 years old." Why you stop? The key, my advice, our kids, we have to have some kind of sport, especially for defend yourself.
Yeah.
Defend yourself. Very important. For the parents, is amana, is a trust.
Yeah.
Put yourself there and don't worry, especially in this era right now in this country, it become to be a Muslim become like a danger.
Yeah, we saw what happened. I don't know if you saw what happened in Chicago.
Chicago, yes.
That hijab girl that got beat up by those girls.
Yeah, too.
And so we have to tell our kids, teach your kids how to defend themselves, not to fight, but we don't start.
No, defend yourself.
Yeah, we don't start. And the way I explain to my own children and the kids at the schools, when I tell them, you're going to go to a public school. This is what's going to happen in a public school. Because a lot of them go from 9th grade, or from 8th grade, they go to 9th grade in the high schools.
Yeah.
And I tell them, when you go from a small Islamic school to a giant public school.
Yes.
This is what's going to happen. I said, you have to learn how to defend yourself. You're not going to start the fight,
No.
but you're going to finish the fight.
But you know what I mean in Japanese language, karate.
Mhm.
Karate. Defend yourself with the hands.
Yeah.
Karate, my hand. Defend yourself with your hand. That's karate. It's not karate, the sport. The sport, actually, fighting sport, but defend yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, brothers and sisters, very important, to also don't forget this kind of defend yourself. You get some.
It builds confidence.
Huge.
Yeah,
confidence.
it builds a lot of confidence.
Yeah.
They're not scared anymore to walk. And hijabis know how to defend themselves. The girls will know how to take care of themselves. There's actually, a lot of classes you could take for that.
In ICBR, actually, when I was there, I found out that a lot of kids, MMA, teaching the kids.
Yeah.
Oh my God, alhamdulillah. So I'm so happy to see in masajid supposed to do. Some people actually, and I'm going to mention nationalities. Oh, no, haram. It's not haram, trust me.
You have to learn how to defend yourself.
You have to.
And the way you look at it now is the Zionism has lost the narrative of, it's all, we're defending ourselves, we're different. They've lost that. So now they're getting to become more bold.
Yes.
And say, you know what?
More naked.
So now they're like, oh, the news hates us, so we're going to fight back now physically.
Yeah, unfortunately. But inshallah, and I have a very strong feeling the victory is coming soon.
Inshallah. We wish for the victory to come soon.
We have 7 minutes if you have a question, inshallah. Yeah. Brother Muhammad, no, inshallah, Eid al-Adha coming after 2 months. Yeah. But you have how to prepare ourselves for the Eid, for especially Eid al-Adha, is 4 days. And some actually countries we got the whole entire week. But in America,
which country is this? Because I would like to go there for the week.
Egypt, they have 1 week, and some other countries. Sure. My point, actually, we want also prepare ourselves for our kids. So that day belong to you as a Muslim, legally.
Yeah,
legally, because our self-esteem to our kids too much. A lot of low self-esteem. I want to be high self-esteem. You're strong and fighter. Fight your right for your right. Not fighting others.
Okay? No, you fight for what's right.
But legally in this state, actually, how to have my son, my daughter to go on the Eid to have a vacation, plus not written in their report.
That's
like missing day.
So you're talking about legal stuff that we're in a time right now that legal stuff doesn't make sense anymore.
Because of
what's going on right now in our society right now. Anything that you think is legal or illegal it's weird. The time we're living in is very weird right now.
It's sad.
It's very sad. It's very like things that you think, well, they're saying it or they're doing it, but no, you can't do it because the world is against us, right? Well, we feel like the world is against us.
But the West not anymore.
No, it's not the world. It's more like the West.
Actually, the governments.
The governments.
Yeah.
Because they're all run, they're all controlled.
Yeah.
They all know, they have bad things on them or they're getting paid a lot of money. Whatever the case may be. So we're on a little tiny thread that we're trying to walk on in this society. So, what I try to tell everybody is kind of just like understand to pick and choose your battles.
Oh, define.
Like know where what you're gonna fight on. Understand that.
For what?
For what you're gonna fight on, for what you're gonna stand for what you're gonna like really speak up against, or for what. Because at the end of the day, I tell them like you have to be very cautious and learn how to talk the right way.
Yes.
You can't be aggressive. You can't be you have to be assertive, but also kind at the same time. And understand that if you're a job, if you have a work, if you have some type of employment, I'm hoping that you have a cool boss, that you made it to the point where your bosses see you as, and I use Abdullah as a name just as an example.
Normally, yeah.
Abdullah's a good guy. Abdullah works his butt off. Abdullah's always reliable. Abdullah, you need 4 days off for your holiday. We're going to go ahead and give you 4 days off because we never have a problem with you. And this is something that happened.
Happened to me.
And this is what happened to me. I don't know, what was it? 7-8 years ago, I wanted to go to Umrah. And I had an opportunity to go, but I needed to take 3 weeks off. And my job doesn't let me take more than 2 weeks off. And I talk, and I speak to the guy. I said, listen, this is something that, I really wanted to do, something in my life, once in my lifetime. And he said to me, Muhammad, you never give us a hard time. You're always on point. You never called in. You never did it. take 3 weeks off.
Then you judge yourself. Yeah, alhamdulillah.
Yeah, and it wasn't ever because you're a Muslim. It was because you're reliable, you're dependable.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
So,
exactly.
and again, they know my name is Muhammad, so they know I'm a Muslim because
Yeah.
you can't get away from it. So they know my actions.
The key, the action, and you work in right way, no problem
Yeah.
with that.
Yeah,
And
you shouldn't.
that's صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم. May Allah among you. We're almost finished, inshallah. Anything online when you have a question?